What is going on, guys? My name is Alex, aka Retro Rising, and welcome to an Introduction to Nuzlockes. This video, we're just going to talk about what is a Nuzlocke and how can you make your Nuzlocks bigger and better. Maybe even make them easier, maybe make them more challenging, how to spice them up. We'll talk about all of that in this video. But first, before we jump into it, I just want to say like and subscribe. Comment down below if you have any questions about these Nuzlocks, because I'll give you a lot of basic stuff in this video, but I'll be keeping an eye out on the comments in case you have any questions. With that said, let's jump into it. What is a Nuzlocke? Basically, a Nuzlocke is a Pokemon challenge run. This They tend to follow four common rules, which that most different variations of Nuzlocke spice up, but there are four common rules to follow. First is you must nickname all of your Pokemon. This helps to build an emotional bond to your Pokemon and really help develop your relationship with them throughout your journey. The second rule that you need to follow is you can only capture the first Pokemon you see on each route. As you see on the little picture, I'm going to pop up on one of my shoulders. I'll figure that out later. It tells you right where the area is. In the newer games, it might not say a route number, it'll say an area, but you just follow that. The third rule is if a Pokemon faints, it is considered dead and can no longer be used in battle. Some people will release that Pokemon, some people will put him in a box. I prefer to keep him in a box. That way, if I have to keep him for an HM or something, I still have the option. And then fourth, if you white out or black out, depending on the game, then you lose. That would be the end of your Nuzlocke. However, there are exceptions to all rules. Those are just the four most common ways that people tend to do Nuzlocks. Uh, those other rules and clauses that people can do, typically it comes down to the routes, where people tend to add something like a shiny clause, where they can catch any shiny Pokemon that they come across. Shiny Pokemon, of course, being those little different colored Pokemon that sparkle a little. And then there's also things like dupes clause or species clause, where if you find a Pokemon that you've already caught or a Pokemon in the same evolutionary line, then you can skip it. But of course, those clauses there, they tend to just be optional things that people do. Other things that people like to do to make their runs a little bit more challenging is they like to add some level caps on. Level caps are when you stop leveling up your Pokemon and making sure you don't exceed the next boss battle. Typically a gym leader or the Elite Four, but in some games you'll look at like the rivals or even the evil team, and you'll end up basing it off of their levels. And those boss battles you can find very, very easily online. If you look at a website like Cerebi or Bulbapedia or any of those guys, they tend to list it out very well if you decide to do that. Uh, Other ways that you can make your runs more challenging is to consider making it so you can't use healing items in battle or even X items. X items, if you've never used them before, they're just those items that give you a little stat boost in the battle. Nice and free, pretty easy. I've seen people who have swept entire games just relying on X items. And me, if you've seen any of my latest Nuzlocke, you've seen me cheese how many games just by healing up in battles, um, which is all fun. And if you want to make your games easier, there are other things you can do. Like, of course, allowing healing. That's always a nice way to make it a little bit easier. Uh, Other ways you can make it easier, of course, you can just ignore the level cap rule. Of course, keep it basic. Another thing that people will do to make it easier is sometimes if you white out, they will give themselves a second chance using all new Pokemon from the box. So it all depends. Just do what's fun for you. That's basically it. It's a challenge run, but at the end of the day, it's a game. Just do what's fun. Um, with that said, I want to talk about a couple more variations that people like to do. I've done two of the three that we're going to talk about on the channel. First is a monotype run. That is where you can only catch Pokemon of one type. I know pretty soon we're about to do one with ghost types on the channel, which will be very, very fun. Another type of run people have done is a shiny lock, where you can only use shiny Pokemon and it involves a lot of shiny hunting going on. I haven't done that on the channel personally, but I have done one in the past. A shiny lock or something also called a shiny badge quest. I've done both of those. And the last one I want to talk about is something called a soul link. Soul Links are a 2-player Nuzlocke where when 2 players catch a Pokemon on the same route, those Pokemon become connected, and if one person's Pokemon faints, then the other one also will faint and die with it. It's a pretty fun variation. One that we haven't tried yet on the channel, but honestly, I'm pretty sure it'll happen sometime soon. With that said, guys, that's it. There's your little crash course on Nuzlockes. Like I said, if you have any comments, let me know down in the comments down below. I'll be sure to answer any questions as soon as I see them. And with that said, guys, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.